What's going on, everyone? Slovosh here. Wanted to bring you guys another update. I think this is the third rendition or time they've updated the test center to try out all the new things they're bringing to the game, and just wanted to give you my latest opinions on Green Goblin and how he's shaping up. It seems like they've been actively trying to make his skill set much smoother and more responsive, and they've been adding a lot of tags to everything so that the correct damage multipliers will be applied to his whole kit. Anyways, so today is the 2nd of March. This is test center, so things can still be, able to change between now and what I think will be Friday when he's released. Friday the 4th maybe? Yeah, Thursday the 3rd. Yeah, Friday the 4th. So by March 4th is my prediction on when Green Goblin will come out. It looks like they're really polishing his skill set, and amongst all the other things they're doing in test center, they've been pouring a lot of updates into him. One of the things that I'm pretty happy, and I guess they heard me. I went on the forums and I actually did report this. When you zoom in, it doesn't cut his head off anymore. So thank you to the Gazillion team for doing that. That is such a stupid thing to have in the game, and they hear their community and they listen, and I hope they continue to listen to the community on some of these skills that they're trying to implement on the game, especially for Green Goblin. His glider weapons, the ones that like aim one direction and then you strafe around, although they're fun and they're definitely a new dynamic to the game, they're really just a giant DPS loss, and they don't really function that well, and they're kind of clunky. So they need to kind of hang that shirt up to dry, I suppose. Some of the moves in this tree are decent, but like I was toying around with Nitrous Boost a little bit, and it still doesn't feel good. I don't know why you'd ever want to do damage flying away from people. Nitrous Boost plus the wing clip where you spin in a circle, that's not bad, but that's just a lot of specialization and cooldowns and whatnot just for a small little skill. So I don't know. It is what it is. There'll be builds out there that I'm sure that benefit from this, but I don't see them being very effective at in-game content or for speed runs, or I don't see them really getting you through the trial or in Cosmic Midtown or Cosmic Hightown for that matter. I'd love to see the builds that come about, though. Some movement builds here. Everything's tagged movement now, which is nice. I'm kind of still sticking to the Bag of Tricks tree here and some of his Madman skills. They just seem to be the best grouping for me. And obviously they're still working on some of the graphics on how they look here, but I wanted to bring you guys my updated build for Green Goblin and why I've chosen to stick with the skills that I have. And then if there was any change to the skills since the last video, I'll try to cover up why they changed that and what's going on now. So in my last build, I was primarily focusing on pumpkins, and that is going to continue to be the theme of this build. It just seems to be the best DPS output and maneuverability and just ability to clear guys. I don't know, just some of these skills, they don't function correctly in the glider weapons because you can only do like one or two of them at a time, and it's not enough layers of DPS to really fill in everything that you should. Whereas like, the pumpkins, they've now added Pumpkin Bomb to actually be a burning move. So this will benefit from some specialty artifacts that deal extra damage to burning targets. This also has been changed to physical damage, so that's pretty neat. That'll benefit from a lot of physical type artifacts, which is really good because there's a lot of really strong physical artifacts in the game right now. So let's just start out at the beginning. I'm going to go through my skill bar here, and then we'll work our way down the tree here and why I chose each one. So one of the moves they've finally got the graphic in there for is Sonic Toads, Now, the reason I chose Sonic Toads is because it is a physical damage move. And since it's physical damage and it's a cooldown move, it's something I can cast and then layer over top of with other consistent DPS type moves. And the reason I'm focusing primarily on physical damage is because of his change to his strength over sanity passive. It used to be +3 to strength, which was pretty good, but now it's changed so that you get 1 to strength and then 5% damage to all physical powers. And it also now activates on, and it doesn't say it anywhere, but I know in the notes over here it says if you go below 30% health or you go below 30% total mana, this formula, wait, why am I fucking these up? I'm sorry, guys. I am jumping the gun here. So strength over sanity, this is your pure DPS type passive. This has spirit restore now. That's what they actually added new to this. So it restores spirit per second when you're not using his spirit spending power. And I'll tell you how that works here in a second, if you haven't already put the pieces of the puzzle together, why that helps with his spirit regen. So anyways, the changes to this move, which is a maxed move in my build, is it gives you now +1 to strength rather than +3, but it also gives you +5 damage to physical powers, which is why I'm focusing on physical type skills that he's got in his trees. Obviously, you can't get around the fact that he's going to be a hybrid hero, so this may open up some more windows for artifacts. I feel like the artifact best in slot for Green Goblin is going to be a crapshoot. I mean, there are so many ways you could choose one skill over another to really hone in on a certain artifact that it's really going to be like a customizable character in the sense that you'll be able to run whatever artifacts you want on Green Goblin and make a build around it. So this is like, I guess, kind of exciting if you have a ton of artifacts that you've been waiting to use on someone. So with that being said, let's continue on. So I'm using Sonic Toads. I said that already. The reason I'm using Sonic Toads is because it is a physical move, and then also because I'm still doing the pumpkin build, I have to use the skill, the big one, because this is kind of like your baby signature. I don't know how else to describe it. This is like your big finisher type move. So you now, instead of having it do damage to bleeding, vulnerable, and burning targets, it now just does 50% to vulnerable targets and burning targets. So that's really good because that's actually more DPS for my build. It looks like they've tuned the damage a lot better. And then this is going to be a max skill, by the way. The big one is a max skill still. And the reason I chose Sonic Toads is so that I can benefit from one of the specializations in here. And I chose to specialize in the Fistful of Toads. Basically, I think he throws, maybe it's like 9 toads. I've never counted. They move kind of erratically and quickly, but it's 9 toads that do like damage that you can't really direct them to one target. So it's kind of a crapshoot of how many are going to hit your target. But if you're standing pretty close, it has a pretty good chance of landing a few of them on your targets. And then if you're just going for a screen clear or whatever, it's really not that bad of a move. I wanted to use this as a spirit spender, but it's just too slow, and it takes away from your ability to layer damage in other areas. So I elected to go with a cooldown where it's buffed up, so it does more damage, but it's got a cooldown. So this is my left click with the specialization of Fistful of Toads for the extra damage, and summons an extra 9 toads. There, it says it right there in that tooltip. So that's my left click. My A button still is his dash. That's just a 1-point wonder. Actually, you don't have to put a point into it. You just get it right off the bat, just for pure movement and getting out of body blocking kind of enemies, so you can move around. The damage and, bombs and whatnot from this, I don't even count that in my skill set. It's just literally to get around. So if you're rushing a boss or whatever, this is how I'd impale through guys, or in combat situations, move to a better situation. I also have 1 point into glide, which is my H skill. I know I'm jumping around, but I just want to get these 1-point wonders out of the way. Glide's just another type of move where if you have a fence in your way, you don't have to dash around it. Like, first one that comes to mind is like Magneto's terminal. When you run up on those fences, if you don't have a flying or leaping character, you have to go around them, and it sucks. So I have glide 1 point to fly over moats and fences and whatnot. So that is also in the build. Let's see, S slot. This is the beginning of the damage kind of layering. They have now tweaked Gas Pumpkin to actually be your vulnerability applier. So Gas Pumpkin before did an initial burst of damage, but now they removed that initial burst of damage and just upped the energy damage per second. Like, the dot is stronger now. And the whole explosion energy thing from Nitrous Boost, that is not something I'm going to use. Maybe there'll be a build around that, but I don't know. That's not going to benefit my build that I'm going to probably make. So basically, I'm just looking at that energy damage up at the top and the fact that it applies vulnerability. So that's how I'm going to start out my combo. I'll get the dot going, get the vulnerability going. That already is going to cause the vulnerability 50% on the big one to apply. Then I'm going to throw in a layer of Pumpkin Bomb, which, I didn't catch this last time, and I apologize, but apparently the mechanic they were trying to go for was that the fire damage from the Pumpkin Bomb was supposed to ignite the gas from the gas bomb and make it explode or something, but I don't think it worked when I was on Test Center, so I never even got to really see that happen. So I think they kind of realized that that's retarded to do, because it kind of just removes your dots when you actually want layering. So there was people in the forum screaming for it, and they got it. So I'm happy they did this too, because I actually didn't notice, but I figured this is the way it should work, because layering dots is the way to go in this game for maximum damage, per second. So anyways, you got your gas pumpkin, and then you got your Pumpkin Bomb. This is going to apply the burning status, and it's also going to be a physical damage and a dot. So this is really good damage here. Sometimes if you got a few extra guys to clear out with the attack speed on this and the low spirit cost, this is how I'd clear some guys. Plus it deals double physical damage up close. Or I'm sorry, if they're in the center of the target, which I guess if you're actually just click locking them and then holding, the skill to activate on them, it actually does about the same damage as a toad. So this is another reason why I chose to not go with toads as a spirit spender, like my right click or something, because Pumpkin Bomb was actually outperforming it in speed and lower spirit cost and just spamability, and the fact that it did a dot too is just unbelievable. So probably one of his best moves, and rightfully so, because Pumpkin Bombs are his staple as a hero. So basically we're going to layer the gas bomb, then the Pumpkin Bomb on top. So now you have your vulnerability, and now you have your burn, which is going to fully pump up the big one. Now the big one, this is another one that they kind of changed a little bit, because they added this extra little fragment damage or whatever. So when you throw the big pumpkin on the ground, it kind of volcanoes up and shoots these little tiny shards randomly around, and those little shards do that extra little physical damage, it says there, which I'm hoping does still get buffed from the vulnerable and burning statuses of certain enemies. So we'll see, but I feel like the little bomblets that come out of it don't really ever hit the guys I want them to hit. So excuse me. Yeah, so that's that. Again, everything's pretty much surrounded around this mini signature here, the big one. So we're kind of pumping up the 2 damage multipliers, as well as layering our damages through the dots. And then that's going to pump this up to be kind of the crowd clear finisher type move. Still doing 20 points into the signature, which is now officially invulnerable. It also does physical damage, which is awesome. That's another key thing to keep in mind here, is these big ones, toads, Pumpkin Bombs, these are all physical damage, so they're going to get that little kick from the strength over sanity. So Carpet Bomb does physical and energy damage, and makes you invulnerable now officially. So it gets the synergy from the ultimate as well, which I didn't cover in my last video because sometimes you just can't calculate in ultimates as DPS because, you only get them once every 10 minutes if it's level 1 or whatever. So I didn't cover that last time. I'll do a little demo of what it looks like in this video. I'm also going to clear Cosmic Curse now that his damage is a little more tuned right after I get done explaining this. So still 20 points in Carpet Bomb. And then I already covered Glide. And then the last 20-point wonder that I'm using is the only move that I care for any longer in the glider weapons tree. I was using Rocket Barrage, but now that they tagged it as an energy move, it's not going to go on my build because I want to focus on physical. Because when you're putting in Omega points and things like that, you won't have a split between physical and energy builds. So the remote controlled dive, this does an ass load of damage, and has a really cool graphic too. Now it like cracks the ground and kind of looks like lava underneath, and it's very quick, and it's a lot of point blank damage. Plus, it's a cooldown, so you can continue to do your other damage layering with this in the rotation, and it's quick activation, cooldown's decent. It's a good like AoE clear kind of spike type move, and I like that. So this is my right click, and this is I'd say my only favorite move now in the glider weapons tree. It's just physical damage, point blank, boom, done, out of there. So I'm doing 20 points in that, 20 points Gas Pumpkin, 20 points Sonic Toads, 20 point Big One, 20 point Pumpkin Bomb. Specialization is Fistful of Toads. 20 points in Strength over Sanity, 1 point in Glide. I did 20 points in Carpet Bomb, and then just to finish off the build, whatever was left, your point dump will be the Goblin formula. I was just doing a 1 point wonder in the last build, but I had extra points left over, and I couldn't really see any other move filling in a spot that was better than this. Plus, the nice thing now is he's only on one toolbar, so they did a great job at buffing his certain passives and everything and getting his skill sets to fit on one skill bar. That's fantastic for me because I don't like to jump around between skill bars. I always misclick or fat thumb something. So the last set of skills that I think there's significant changes to, and they've made the right decision with this, is that the Goblin formula now, the reason that this works well with the new Strength over Sanity is that basically Strength over Sanity restores your spirit whenever you're not using a spirit spending power, right? So that's all the time. So if you're not using a spirit spending power, like you're just moving from one target to another, you're gaining spirit. But this Goblin formula basically says when it's active, you recover spirit regardless of power usage. So I think it tricks Strength over Sanity into just constantly regenning your spirit, even if you are casting. So it kind of helps mitigate a lot of the spirit cost of things. So the other change the Goblin formula was, like I was saying before, and I jumped the gun earlier, and it is in there. It says it right there. This effect automatically triggers when you fall below 30% of your max spirit or health, which is fantastic. And then, adding points just adds more defense, more total health, more dodge rating, and more health per second on the regen. So this is a move that I would say they should just make a pure passive, because I don't know why anyone would actually just, run this all the time, unless you have severe spirit issues. I don't know why this would be on your toolbar, to be quite honest. I mean, I like the fact that you have the option to, but truth be told, I'm just going to let the game do that thinking for me rather than looking down at my red and blue bars and just being like, oh shit, I'm below 30%, click. I'm just going to let the game do that for me. So his spirit issues are dramatically better. He still feels squishy as far as damage spiking, but usually by the time he looks like he's about to die, the Goblin formula is kicking in, and that health regen is fucking nice. So it's gonna help him get back to his max health. Now, given I don't have all the gear on that I want, I don't have any. I don't believe. I mean, maybe it's on one of those unique items or whatever. Those aren't tuned fully yet either. But yeah, I'm going to get his health up a little higher for when I actually play as him, because 18,000 ain't cutting it, especially in some higher end shit. You'll just get spiked down before you can even have the Goblin formula click in. So he's a little squishy right now, but this is my build. This is the best I think he can do right now. As far as the Omega system went, the new Omega system for the, what is it called? Interstellar. This has a lot of good places to dump points for physical powers, physical and ranged, physical and energy, things like that. So it's really good. I'm not going to go through the Omega tree. You guys can figure that out yourself, but mainly I focused on physical damage since that's most of his toolkit. As far as hero synergies, I also focused on crit damage or physical damage type buffs. Obviously, there's some people that you just can't go wrong with, and since almost every one of his moves in this skill set is labeled with area, I focused on area a lot as well. You can see right now almost every one of his moves that I'm using as far as a damage type move goes, it's labeled area. So his passive is now actually officially 2.5% area damage power, 5% bonus damage while moving, which I think is another hint towards the fact that they want people to use those strafing type moves, which it's not going to work. I mean, just I'd love to see it happen, but I don't know how that would be good, to be honest. But anyways, focused on area damage and physical damage for, synergies that you got. Thor was a really nice one for him because he does a little bit of energy damage still in his kit from the dots and whatnot. So that's what I went with. That's the build. This was a really good artifact I could see going on him just because of the energy damage and the area ratings and all that good stuff, plus the power ratings. I know this is a shit roll one, but you get where I'm going with this. Obviously your standard other ones, but this is something that probably fills in for some other slots. But anyways, these are his uniques. I'm not going to explain any of them. I'll just hover over them for a second. You can check them out. I'm sure they're also on Marvel Heroes info if it hasn't already been data mined or whatever, but that's what they're looking like. Using Coulson as a team up on passive just because of his damage rating and crit rating. Just seems good for DPS. Anyways, guys, let's do a quick curse run so you can kind of see how the build runs. And I just tried to mix it up and go into Danger Room. They have all the vendors in here now. This is kind of like my favorite place to do some tuning because you can still do a lot of your moves in here. There's no dummy to practice your DPS on, but when you start getting into higher end shit, the dummies die too fast and they don't recharge as quickly as I'd like them to. So let's do a Cosmic Curse. Hopefully I get a Gem of the Cursed because that matters on Test Center, right? Okay, so literally one skill bar. Team ups on Dismiss. Let's get this out of here. Alrighty, so this is Green Goblin. Oop, I don't know who I'm aiming at. Alright, so I should have dashed on that one. I didn't, but you can see how squishy he is. I mean, this is a little ballsy of me to play this way, but I just wanted to showcase some of his shit. So again, I'm leading off with the gas grenade, then do any of the other moves to fill in between, which is the nice thing I like about this build is that there's a lot of layering going on, so your damage output is pretty nice. But if you need to spam, you can spam the hell out of his pumpkins because they throw fast. I'm not sure what in his toolkit gives him this invisibility thing, but and the toads you'll see there, they do quite a bit of damage. But they're probably still not as good as his pumpkin bombs. And his glide, I use it just for mainly flying around. It doesn't drop enough bombs. If it dropped like a consistent stream of bombs, it'd be pretty sick. Yeah, official first, but really, I didn't kill him. I was gonna say, Jesus. And his dash, it just seems really short, but I guess that's because they want you to be able to dash back and forth, but I don't know. See that fucking remote controlled dive, man, it just hits like a hammer. It's awesome. So I'm gonna do the ultimate to lead off, see how far it melts Kurse down, but I'm gonna wait till this little bubble shield goes away. Okay, so I got my dots on them. Let's clear out some of these guys. Get in the middle screen here. There we go. Alright, so it's got a lot longer duration than I thought it would, which is nice. Kill him with the toads. Alright, so his ultimate is, just to cover it, it's basically like a cannon. Does a lot of damage twice per second, and I'm invulnerable the whole time, so I guess it's 6.1 seconds, and in this game that's quite a long time. So it's not bad. I mean, compared to some of the other characters, Mr. Fantastic, it's actually not too bad of a ultimate move. So that's the build that I'm sticking with right now. I think he's going to turn out okay, to be really honest. I think there's going to be some build variety, just in the sense. See, look at that. Maybe it just depends on the area. See, now I'm back in the training center, and his head's cut off. What the fuck? Tell me there's different zoom levels in different areas? This is news to me, man. Yeah, I guess so. Look at that. I'm fully zoomed in still. His head's not popping up. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll submit another ticket, but maybe I'll just let it go. Because how often do you really need to zoom in on someone? If someone played like this, I'd probably come to your house and beat your hands with a hammer, because that's the stupidest thing in the entire world to play like that. Yes, you can look at your character up close. They're cool. But if you play like this, you're really just gimping yourself. So, do yourself a favor and back the fuck away so you can see everything around you. You know, if a guy's coming from that direction or whatever. Anyways, I'm not here to give you guys pointers on shit like that. But hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like how Green Goblin's shaping up. I think I'm going to like him in the sense that he'll be an easy leveling type character. It seems like a lot of the moves in his skill set that I'll be using are kind of lower level. I didn't really check to see what level some of these come out. I mean, obviously you get Carpet Bomb by 30, Goblin Formula. I'm not sure when it comes out. It kind of feels weird that it's this far down in the tree, because that's like essentially his health and you know, spirit regen. I think when you start out with a level 1 though, you might already have a point in Goblin Formula, and then this probably comes somewhere midway. But he starts out with Pumpkin. He starts out with the Gunner, which is fun, but it's retarded. It doesn't really function the way I think it should. But anyways, I'd like to see them do something with it where it's a little better. Like maybe if you just click it on and then it fires for a certain amount of seconds while you're moving, that'd be okay. But it should face the way that you're going. Like if it was just basically like a kind of like the Oscorp laser, but you know, whichever way you're moving, that's the way it's shot. That'd be better than the strafing thing. I mean, it looks cool, but I just don't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But right now, it's not looking too hot. And I was really sad that they kind of nerfed the hell out of Hallucinogenic Pumpkin. They're gonna need to do something with this, because although confusing enemies is cool and all, the fact that it's energy damage now, I guess if you're doing an energy build, it'd probably be okay. But I'm going to do physical because that's the only thing that gets a buff from his passive. And they didn't change anything here. So, I don't know. Maybe they left that how it is because it gives it more damage. And then it also gives vulnerability. If you want to do an energy build, maybe you'd use this instead of... I have no idea. But anyways, it just seems like an overkill, because why the hell would you need a vulnerability on this if you got one on that? And this is clearly better. I don't know. Goblin surprise. These things are still, I don't understand where they're going with this, to be honest. Even with the specialization of Ghost Cluster, it just, I don't know. It's just too slow. I mean, it can all attack one target, unlike the toads, but when you can just throw these toads out and forget about them, whereas you have to stop, cast this, and let them find their target, and then it does like 4 splashes of damage. It's nothing compared to, like, 9+ toads that come out that potentially hit someone on your screen. Anyways, now I'm just kind of ranting, guys. I think Goblin is going to come out this Friday. That's what I think. If I'm wrong, sue me. But he's shaping up to be better, and it seems like they're listening to the community a lot about what we like and what we don't like. Currently, I don't like his movement skills, except for the one that I described in this build. So hopefully they do something about that. And then if they could fix his fucking head getting cut off when he's in the test center area, that'd be, or the training zone. What the fuck's it called? Shield training zone. Anyways, it's the stupidest thing in the world. I don't know why there's different zoom levels. But anyways, he's looking good. They still haven't announced what his second costume is, but I have the Advanced Pack 3, so I'll be playing him. I've kind of already described or hinted towards that I'm going to do a 1 through 60 run through, just like I did with Jean Grey. Seems like everyone liked that, and then we'll have fun doing it. So if you guys liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. If you haven't subscribed already, please do as well. And then if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer all of them. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time. Peace.